Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and discuss Rick and Michonne's relationship this season. So I have many thoughts. I'll let you go ahead and start.
Well, it's definitely not started off well. They've been basically at odds ever since the murder scene with Glenn and Abraham. Um, she was one of the few people within like the group that wasn't sobbing and crying hysterically during that whole thing as it was going down. Uh, but I also got the feeling that she just didn't like the way that Rick handled it because the next time that we see the two together, they're like back to back, like on the bed.
Oh yeah, that was.
They were just like not on the same page, and then there's that whole argument that they have about she's trying to talk him into fighting, and he's just like, no, the numbers are too high and whatnot. They just don't agree on how to handle this. I'm on Rick's side. I feel like her whole argument to fight right off the bat was impulsive and poorly thought through. I mean, like, what are they going to do? Like, they've just been stripped of, like, all their weapons. They're just going to, like, march into a giant compound and, like, try and kill Negan. That's just dumb.
It's still well. What I liked about their last sort of interaction, well, second to last interaction that we saw for the season, her speech to him in the cell. She wasn't telling him. I like that she was asking him, and
Maybe that was the trick. Maybe she needed to ask him so that he didn't feel like he was being attacked.
well, I mean, but that's kind of, they have a very give and take relationship, and like even going back to in season 3 when they went to Woodbury to go get Glenn and Maggie, and she tells them, "You need me," but it was clearly more of a ask than a directive. So she kind of works both ways.
He was also holding a gun to her head and like asking, because remember that, like he
Well,
thought she was like a spy.
Well, he
or something.
lowers it, but when she says, "You need me," it's kind of like, come on, like, give me a chance. And he's like, okay. So in the cell definitely was more, she wasn't telling him what to do. She was asking him. And if he had said no, she would have.
She took a more tactful approach.
Yeah, well.
Which was kind of, I was actually kind of surprised that Rick was like receptive to that because it didn't seem like, I mean, the last time that somebody was brutally murdered in front of the whole group, like, he was just beat down by that and was more discouraged. Somehow this time it was like the opposite reaction. Like he like took that whole thing with Olivia as a way of drawing strength from the whole situation.
Well, not even Olivia. I think it was more hearing Michonne admit that she went out on her own, and hearing that Carl had gone out on his own, Rosita going out on her, like all of his people are divided trying to do the same goal, and it's like he knows he has to work with them together so they can stop making really dumb decisions.
Really dumb decisions.
So, but I hope whatever it is they're planning, I mean, going to the Hilltop, they literally only have Jesus, and that's it. Like, everyone else there is pretty much useless. They don't have any weapons.
They're totally useless.
Yeah.
All they can do is, like, milk, do they have a cow or something at the Hilltop? They milk a cow, and they have, like a blacksmith or something.
Well, like, well, even when the Saviors put that car in and, like, let all the walkers into their compound, like, no one made any moves to do anything. Like, the first one to make a move was Sasha, right? And then, like, she calls to Jesus to actually, like, come on and help me. Like, why does she have to ask for you to... And that's... Jesus is he's a great ninja, but, I feel like he should have been, like, the first one to do something. That's his home. And no one else...
They weren't on point, for sure.
No.
They're not on point.
Very far from
And I don't think Rick realizes how, like, not on point they are. I mean, he kind of does, but he's only been there, like, one time. I think the only time that he was there was when... Wasn't it, like, when Jesus led him to them? Like, the first time that they met, and...
I think that's, like, the only...
When that Viking-looking dude busted in and, like, murdered somebody right in front of him, and then he murdered him, and that was, like, his first impression of the Hilltop, so it doesn't seem like... I don't know, like, how he thinks those people are going to help him exactly.
I feel like this is one of his I'm going to go see moments. I'm going to go to the Hilltop and talk to, I guess...
Maybe he thinks that he can inspire them the way that Michonne inspired him.
Inspire them. They need, like, training, and they need weapons,
and they need Gregory to die.
Well, and they need a Eugene.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Eugene's going to be making bullets for Negan.
Well, I still don't think they need to go the bullet, let's go and fight war route. I think that's a total waste, especially since they don't have the numbers, they don't have the weapons, they don't have anything. What they need more than anything is innovation. So I'm hoping that Rick will have the foresight to...
Yeah. Well, they also have a big advantage, though, now, because Jesus got in and out of the sanctuary, so he knows a little bit about the inside of it. And that's he's got, like, inside intelligence.
Oh, and Daryl.
And Daryl, yeah. And they better come up with a plan soon, because I would imagine that once Negan comes back to the sanctuary and finds Fat Joey dead and Daryl gone, he's gonna be fucking pissed off and like, oh, let's go and kill somebody else and take Daryl back or something. I don't know. It just seems like he's gonna instantly retaliate, so they better be ready for it.
While Daryl was escaping, Rick and his people pretty much were where Negan was, so I don't think Negan will suspect that Rick, at the very least, had anything to do with that. So.
But Daryl's missing, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't need... Yes, he escaped, but that doesn't mean that Rick helped him, which he totally didn't. Like, none of Rick's people did. So, but it might be odd that he escaped on the same day that Carl showed up guns blazing, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. And he's obviously, he knows that Daryl is part of Rick's group. He doesn't think that he's part of the Hilltop, by default. So he's gonna take it out on Rick's group either way, just because they're the ones that care about Daryl, and that's part of his whole thing. Is anytime that he wants to punish somebody, he punishes like not them directly, but like somebody else who's connected to them to make them feel like guilty. It's like a whole psychological torture thing. Yeah. So, like, it wouldn't make sense for him to retaliate against the Hilltop for Daryl, because they don't care about Daryl, really. Like, to his knowledge, they don't even know who Daryl is. He has no reason to believe that Daryl has any connection to him. It seems to me that he would go back and, like, fuck with Rick some more.
Yeah, but he knows Rick wouldn't know anything. Rick was out scavenging for Negan, and he comes home and all this shit has gone down.
Somebody else at Alexandria.
He'll probably interrogate people.
Yeah, somebody else at Alexandria. Like, he figures that he's probably going to go back there.
Or maybe he'll be distracted by Eugene, and I can't wait to see that conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be funny.
So, okay. Well, that's it for this one, and please drop a vote for us, or several.